Hi Virgo, welcome to your week ahead tarot with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Virgo, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week this week, you have the Devil card. All right, so not the easiest of energies, but also not the most detrimental. I think with the Devil card, it really, whenever this card shows up, it's just a heads up that something is too much. Something has kind of run away with itself. So this week, I advise you to take a look, take stock of your life and ask yourself, are you working too much? Are you working too hard? Are you overindulging? You know, is that one glass of wine every other evening suddenly become 2 or 3 glasses a night? There's something this week that is being highlighted to you as being out of balance, and it's kind of like it's taking over. For some of you, I kind of feel like this is a certain opinion on something. What do I mean by this? So let's say you've just discovered this new book that you think is marvelous and wonderful, and it's given you all these new ideas and all these new understandings, and that's great, right? Growth, hashtag winning. But you could have become a bit of a proselytizing, a tyrant with it, and maybe you're, now starting to shove this idea down people's throats, or anyone that doesn't believe or doesn't buy into this idea or this opinion. Well, I haven't got time for that anymore. And I'm not saying this is definitely the case. I'm just saying it is something that you might want to be mindful of, because the feeling I get, it's about an opinion, and this might be something that is actually relatively new to you. So, if you've suddenly pulled a 180, as an example, maybe you've been like a really big meat-eating carnivore kind of person, and now all of a sudden you're screaming at people about how why are you drinking cow's milk, and oh, that steak is disgusting, and it looks like you've done a really complete 180 on something, and it's almost like you're taking it a little bit too far. And I kind of get the feeling that the people around you are looking in like, well, it's great that you've discovered this new thing for yourself, but maybe you want to let the rest of us think and feel for ourselves. And I say that out of all love. I got a lot of love for Virgos, because the thing that people really overlook with this sign is they are marvelously kind, and usually in really sort of like down to earth practical ways, like and sometimes it will be something really small, but it will be so precise to who you are. And that, for me, like that, if you're anything like me as a person, that means quite a lot. Like if someone said to me, oh, I don't know, I swiped you the last thing of barbecue sauce because I know you love it. Or, I took your bin in because you left it out. Do you know what I mean? Just something really small but very practical. Virgos really do pay attention to the detail. And so that's something that's really overlooked with this sign. But this week it does look like you could be taking something too far. All right, so just be mindful. If you are a continued subby, Rafi loves you. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit the subscribe button. For your actions and options this week, you have the 10 of Cups. Look at that. All right, so I'm going to say straight up, some of you could be I don't want to say boastful, because that's not really fair, but some of you could be a little bit over the top with, well, isn't this thing that I've done, created, or do, isn't it just absolutely marvelous? And it's like, sorry, I'm laughing at this because it's so unlike your energy, but it's like you could be really feeling yourself on something this week, and you're just like, you know what, I don't care, I'm loving it, I'm having it, I'm all in that sass. That being said, this could also be an overindulgence of alcohol if you're that kind of person. Maybe if you're the sort of person that is, into substance use or whatever, this could be something that really does go very too far. And the reason I say this is, yes, the tagline on the card is the Lord of Perfected Success, but the nine and the 10 of Cups are pleasure at all costs, when they really run away with themselves. And because you've got the Devil card here, if you are prone to, if you like a drink, if you whatever your thing is, there's a potential this week to really take it too far. So just be aware that that is a possibility. And because we've got this triple conjunction taking place this week, you just want to be a little bit extra mindful as well. But outside of that, your action steps, the things that you're trying to initiate or to get out into the world, especially things to do with money, resources, even with just the enjoyment or the sheer pleasure of life, they're all blessed for you. They just have the potential this week to tip the scale. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Judgment card. I mean, Judgment and the 10 of Cups, that is someone or something coming back from your past that is actually really good for you. Or the weird thing is, I kind of feel like this might be, like we've all got that one friend that takes no crap. And no matter how much they love you, like they'll tell you straight, like to me, those are my best friends. My best friends are the ones that will tell me, you know what, I love you, but you're being a dick, or you know what, on this thing, I totally think you're right, or actually I think you're wrong. Like this could be the return of, or the reconnection with a friend or a colleague that is very open, and because of your sort of very opinionated way of being, I find it really interesting that you've got a friend or a connection coming back in at this moment where you appear to be taking something a bit too far. And what really speaks to me with that is, if that is the case, maybe they're coming back in at the right time to stop you going off the deep end with something. Do you know what I mean? So it's like a really interesting idea. For those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, honestly, this week, I think you will be looking to completely change or radically or drastically change your approach to things. So maybe you're changing the thing that you're deciding to study. Maybe you're changing the viewpoint that you have on that. And it might, like I say, I mean, just because the Devil card's there, I feel like this could be something that is a complete 180. So it's like people are like, well, last week or 2 weeks ago or a month ago, you said it was this, and now it's like you're saying the completely opposite thing. And that's fine, right? We're allowed to change our minds, absolutely. And it's a rare and a wise person that can change their mind when they get new information or new insight. What you can't do, though, and I'll give you a really good example here. I don't care how this sounds, I'm going to say it. Doreen Virtue has a lot to answer in the spiritual world. You don't make millions and millions off of people teaching them all kinds of stuff and then turn around and say that everything that you've taught them is, of the devil, and that they're all going to, burn in hell now. And that's a very short, simplified, extreme way of saying what she's done. But as far as I'm concerned, that was bang out of order. And if that were the case, then you should give that money back to the people that invested in you. That's the kind of example that I'm trying to give you here. Now, for those of you that are employed by somebody else, big changes on the horizon, and great changes as well. There's a lot of good here. It's just the Devil card is kind of saying to you, be mindful, because it could go the opposite way if you push too hard or too far. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, it looks like you're formulating a very different way of doing business or working, with the services and the products that you offer. It is the Judgment card. Something could be very new or very novel, and it could be something that you really feel you're supposed to be doing. It's like something that feels very guided or fated to follow. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, I mean, because you've got it with the Ten of Cups, your familial ties are going to be very important this week, and they're likely to be very much to the fore. For your heart and half, love and relations, you've got the Eight of Pentacles. So straight up, if you are meeting someone this week, there's definitely a work-based attraction. For those of you that are single and looking, there's work-based attraction. There could be an interaction with somebody that you work with, which, you know, could be great or it could be detrimental. Because you've got the Devil card here, I'm going to say this is more of a temptation than it is an invite. And you have to, I mean, only you can decide if it's right for you. But you will be potentially setting yourself up for something that could get a little bit sticky a little bit later on. For those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, honestly, I kind of feel like this is you and your partner being a little bit antisocial for whatever, you know, whatever the reasons are. Maybe you just want to spend more time together. Maybe, you know, you see that the world is crazy and so you're like, you know what, we're not getting involved in any of that. It just suggests that you are a little bit insular this week. So just be mindful of that. And then for your money and materials, look at this. I mean, your money looks great. Your Ace of Cups, I will say this could potentially be, because you've got the Devil card with the Ace of Cups, that could potentially be that you're overspending. And because of this Ten of Cups energy as well, you could also be overindulging if that's your thing. But, you know, there are worse problems to have than spending too much money. For your resources, though, it's like you're making money from things that you love to do. And it's kind of like almost like that's becoming the addiction. You know, it's just like it's just growing and growing and growing, which again, there are worse problems to have. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, I love this card because it always suggests that there's some kind of healing. Because you've got the Devil card, the only slant that I would add to this is, you know, if you have done something to lose loads of weight and you're now at that goal weight, you just stop there. You know, like, yes, maintain it, but don't keep going because, you know, you don't want to swing the pendulum the opposite way. But the Ace of Cups is lovely for health because it usually represents not only healing, but feeling really good in your own body, which is lovely. And then when it comes to your home and environment, that's pregnancy energy. The Ace of Cups is pregnancy, birth kind of energy, you know, or it could just be that you and your significant other, or whoever's fulfilling that role at the moment, are really having a very good time physically, quite often, a lot. And I will say no more on that front. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.